Thank the chairman. I now recognize the ranking member of the subcommittee, Jasmine Crockett.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And I first just want to begin with a news alert. Guess what? Joe Biden is not the president anymore. So maybe we can move on. Maybe we can move into the present, because it seems like we are living in the past. And listen, these are not the good old days, you know?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt this thing so soon. But this is the exact same Democratic Party that lived in the past up until November 5th. They lived in the J6 past, election denier past all along. And now, again, the tables turned. Everything's flip-flopped. None of this makes any sense. And now they're like, hey, can we start talking about the now and the future? Classic.
No, like you used to sit around and your grandparents would talk to you about what used to happen. What we need to be talking about is how we are going to legislate, because I think that some of my colleagues have confused what our jobs are. And I get that we're sitting in judiciary. And so it may seem as if we are here to be litigators, but we are here to be legislators, which means that we are supposed to be writing laws, not trying to have our own trials and determine whether or not something is true or not, or whatever the case is, or who should be sued, who shouldn't be sued. All I know is that a great American hero.
I think she's saying this because obviously the litigation would be against her, an attorney who probably has 0 cases under her belt, a self-proclaimed confessed DEI hire herself, and more than likely she's on Pam Bondi's radar, okay, and probably going to be facing litigation herself, deposed soon for her the role that she played in instigating acts of domestic terrorism for Tesla Takedown Day, or better yet, Jasmine Crockett's birthday day.
Politicians. So I'll make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with, on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes. Listen, a good senator out of New Jersey said something to the effect yesterday as he was shattering the record for holding the floor, a record that had been held by another racist in this country. As he shattered that, he said something about the fact that this should not be about...
Is she implying that Cory Booker's a racist? Is that what she just said?
Left versus right. It should be about right versus wrong. And I am going to tell you that I want us to focus on right versus wrong. The reason that we are struggling right now in this country as it relates to people not trusting agencies, honestly, a lot of it is because of elected leaders.
Now, Jasmine Crockett says we should be focusing on right versus wrong. And I'm not going to give you my opinion on this, but I would ask that you guys leave a comment down below and let me know if this is right or if this is wrong by collecting out of paychecks deductions towards Social Security, even though those who are paying in are never, ever going to be able to draw from it. Jasmine Crockett said this herself.
To be clear, undocumented folk contribute approximately $100 billion in taxes. They pay into Social Security and they don't get to draw down on it. So stop, again, allowing them to divide us and to demonize them.
But yeah, just kind of curious. What do you guys think? Is that right or is that wrong?
Let me tell you, one of the things that the chairman and I actually agree upon, we don't agree on a lot, is that we both know that there has been a sharp incline as it relates to threats upon our lives. Regardless of what side of the aisle you sit on, we both know and agree that as sitting members of Congress, we both are enduring more death threats than anybody should in this country.
Speaking of more death threats than anybody should in this country, I think if we want to talk about breaking records, Elon Musk broke the record for 17,000 in a single day.
Just to put this into perspective, that's how important I think it is. I had 17,000 death threats. Okay, when I said I was going to go talk in Wisconsin, I got 17,000 death threats, not a few, 17,000 about going to talk in Wisconsin, in Green Bay. I still went. So, yeah. Please do this.
And that's Elon. If you own a Tesla, if you drive a Tesla, guess what? There's a bounty on your head. No matter what, period. And I wonder why. I wonder who's to blame for this. I wonder who really caused this, because this didn't happen until here recently. Elon Musk has been influential in the Trump campaign, in Trump's election win, in this mandate, in Doge, yet only here recently has the ownership of a Tesla vehicle caused people to fear for their lives. So I have to assume that that was instigated, or better yet, paid for by somebody in particular to cause this problem, which I think it actually has had an opposite reaction from the standpoint of the strength of Tesla and the future of Tesla's stock price. But yeah, we'll let Jasmine continue on here.
And I believe that it is because of the divisive rhetoric, and it is because of the selective enforcement of things. And so when we have, and I'm gonna be clear, because I had remarks and I'm going a whole other way. To have the sitting attorney general go on, and I'm gonna call it faux news. I know some of y'all love it, but it's fake to me.
Speaking of fake, I did receive an email from a sponsorship opportunity. Now, there's a link in the description if you want to engage for business inquiry. However, I appreciate the offer, but I highly doubt that my audience is interested, nor am I, in peddling wigs. Okay. I'm just not into it. Okay. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But we're going to stick to what's most important here, the matters that matter most. And perhaps maybe there's some other creator out there who can peddle wigs for their audience. I don't think I have a huge Jasmine Crockett fan base, so I don't know if wigs are going to be high on their list of priorities. I think some of these folks watching, probably a majority, are probably more so concerned about paying their bills, keeping their head above water, and just making it month to month, besides a new lace front wig. I don't know. I'm just guessing here. But speaking of fake news, you got to watch the video that went up before this one. She says faux news. Okay. We'll call it MSDNC, and the latest with Mika Brzezinski on Morning Joe. You got to watch that.
To have her go on Fox News and to then decide that she wanted to send a threat to me, it was wrong. Because here it is, she is the...
It wasn't a threat. It was a warning. It was a heads up. It's like, there was no threat.
Highest law enforcement agent in this country, and people are watching and they are consuming this information.
Jasmine, F-A-F-O, okay? You done F-A'd, you about to F-O, all right? That's it. It's not a threat. Stop making everything about you. Stop with this victim mentality, reverse DEI, racism bullshit. You specifically said you got the job, you got hired because you were unqualified, but you were black. Now you're going to try and spin this, obviously, pure Democrat, liberal fashion, leftist fashion, to, let me guess, this is a racial attack by white Pam Bondi? Blonde, white Pam Bondi coming after black Jasmine Crockett?
And they are believing that simply because I decided that I wanted to exercise my right to free speech, which I am not abridged from doing, that she then wanted to then politicize something that should not be politicized. I don't like Elon Musk. I'm going to say it 50,000 times. I don't like him. I don't like that he going out there and he firing people. I think that he's a crook because somehow the rest of us can't sit around and get whatever federal contracts we want. The rest of us can't sit around.
I don't think Elon's sitting around. Elon has done tremendous work to get to this point to then go out there and competitively bid for these government contracts for which he is extremely qualified to execute on at a value price for the government. He was offering and providing value pricing for the government before DOJ was even a thing, let alone the fact that you don't like the man who was able and capable, willing, and actually brought home stranded astronauts from outer space. You just don't like him because you just don't like him. You just don't like him because you a hating ass bitch. That's it. That's the only reason why. You have no substantiating, no real ground to stand on for this opinion, yet you are able and qualified and allowed to exercise your First Amendment right of freedom of speech, yet Pam Bondi cannot? Pam Bondi cannot? Fuck out of here.
And get law enforcement and get them somehow ordained as federal law enforcement to protect him. The rest of us can't get our dealerships protected by the federal government. That is somebody that is operating above the law.
Well, the rest of us don't have dealerships. And the rest of us, if we did, aren't being victims of domestic terrorism based on your incitement, based on your rhetoric, based on your, as you put it, freedom of speech, your words, Jasmine. You did this. You did this. Elon didn't do this.
For whatever reason, just because he has a lot of money, more money than everybody else. And yes, I am happy to see that on my birthday, which is what I said, there were peaceful protests around this world against him.
And she's also happy to see that there were not peaceful protests. That's the key here. She leaves that out.
Because he is a problem. And so you never should have somebody that is sitting that high and is going to sit up here and threaten a sitting member of Congress when she knew good and well, if she watched the entire thing, that I specifically told protesters to make sure you consult with lawyers, just like I've told protesters over and over and over in the history of me advising people to go out and exercise their constitutional right.
Let me guess. You told him the same way Jimmy Kimmel told him?
Down other than the stock market for a change. Our co-president, Elon Musk, sent a SpaceX vehicle to bring the astronauts back. And when they landed, he fired them immediately upon landing. Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so,
yeah, okay, got it. Got a little Miss Crockett over here. So, additionally, Elon's the problem. How long has Elon been the problem? Like literally, like how long has he been a problem? Like literally, just describe to me how Elon has been a problem. Was he a problem when he provided power to Lahaina? Was he a problem when he provided communications to Western North Carolina? Was he a problem when he provided communications to Ukraine? Now he's a problem. All of a sudden, he's a freaking problem.
The fact that there are other sitting members that have received letters of threat from this new DOJ tells me that they are about retribution and they are not about following the law. The reason that our party, or I won't even say our party, our country is torn apart is because we can't even agree on right versus wrong.
Now, I'm going to tell you what's wrong is you're wrong, okay? Because I'll even bring you in an instance of Kai Cenat, who incited a riot in New York City with a PS5 giveaway, and he was charged. So, Jasmine, if you, in fact, incite a riot, well, guess what? That's illegal. You are breaking the law. And whether it comes from an attorney, from some random attorney or from the DOJ or from Pam Bondi herself, it's the law. There's no exception. You're not special. I mean, maybe special ed.
This should not be left versus right. The only thing that we're asking is that we have law enforcement that will show up when there is an actual crime. If somebody calls and says, hey, I need you to investigate this cyber crime, or I need you to investigate.
How about the fact that you are the cause of so much crime, which makes it near impossible for law enforcement to show up, let alone the fact that you want to defund the police? Like, how are you so hypocritical? How are you so blind? How are you so irrational? How are you so capable of just sitting here so you can only hear yourself talk?
This child pornography, or I need you to investigate this robbery.
Yeah. All the things that the Democrats have made almost all criminals immune from, let alone putting this child pornography in elementary school libraries or allowing criminals to steal up to $999 without prosecution. It's like the Republic, MAGA, Trump, Elon, whoever you want to blame this on, ma'am, they didn't do that. You did this.
Then we want somebody to show up, and we don't want them to look at us and act as if just because I'm black or because I'm woman that I am not worthy of having that case investigated, because we have an administration that is continuously railing against diversity, equity, and inclusion.
As you sit here and make complaints about a woman threatening you, even though Pam Bondi is not threatening you. But you had to throw that in there because if you only said black, then obviously this would have been race baiting. But Jasmine, no one is attacking you. No one is threatening you. However, you are going to be held to the same standards of everyone else, regardless of your skin color or your chromosome type.
Or we don't need people that show up that feel like diversity should not be valued. That is why we should have somebody that may show up and looks like me. The final thing that I'll say, because you've been gracious, is this. When I first became a public defender, I had no criminal defense experience. And I walked in and I told my boss, Charlie, I said, listen, you should hire me. He said, why? I said, because I'm black. Charlie looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, let me tell you something. When I walk in, I'm going to walk in with a level of rapport and understanding that maybe some of my other colleagues will not. Charlie offered me my job. And I worked my butt off, and I worked really, really hard for all of my clients, not just those that look like me. And that is what it looks like to serve. Thank you.
I don't think anybody's making this about identity or anybody who looks like them except for you. However, Jasmine's right. That bitch is crazy.